Well, thank you so much for joining today. Let's start today's practice either coming into our comfortable seated position. You're taking chair poses with your back up against the back of the chair. If you're taking floor poses, we'll come down into a constructive rest, coming onto our backs. No matter which variation you're choosing, a gentle bend in your knees. Your feet are firmly planted on the floor. Your hands are resting gently. Your shoulders start to relax into the surface that's supporting them. And then maybe you start to close your eyes, letting your eyelids grow heavier. Or maybe you simply soften your gaze, letting your vision blur over. As we settle in here, we'll start to extend our breathing, letting our inhale be a little longer and our exhale more intentional. And for this beginning, I want you to notice what's happening in your mind. Maybe there's a lot of thoughts bouncing around, or feelings or emotions. And imagine those thoughts and those emotions and those feelings as visual words that you can actually see. And then imagine those thoughts pouring out of each of your ears with each exhale, falling into the mat or the chair's back, and just washing away from you for the next few moments. Allow yourself to let all those thoughts go, releasing them to the earth to hold them until you need them once more. And this allows you to start to dive inward just a little bit more. We'll start to pay attention to our breathing. And we'll switch from that intentional, deep breath into a circular breath today. The circular breath, the duration of the inhale or exhale are completely up to you and your lung capacity. But the goal here is to smooth out the transitions, not allowing a pause in between the inhale and the exhale, and the exhale and the inhale, smoothly transitioning from one to the next. And they can be long and steady breaths, or they could be short. They could be with your natural flow, or anywhere in between. But really focusing on those transitions, starting to make the breath feel truly seamless. And we'll continue with that breath for just a few more cycles on your own. Today's class, we're going to be talking about generosity. Because to give without expecting in return is a beautiful gift. To hug another for no reason at all. To call a friend just because. These are all acts of pure kindness and generosity. Generosity can be an antidote for selfishness and hate. And we can help others when they are in need. But let us also help others from a simple kindness in our hearts. When the world around you might seem cruel, or you lose faith in humanity, It is generosity that brings us back. It is generosity that reminds us that humans can be kind and that our hearts are simply filled with love, waiting to be shared. As we take these last few breaths here in our grounding meditation, bring to mind the last time someone was truly kind to you for no reason. And take a moment to allow yourself to rest in any feelings, emotions, or thoughts of what it feels like to be the recipient of that generosity. Let generosity fill and heal your heart in this moment. We'll take one last breath here, starting to allow our breathing to find its natural rhythm. Can have a pause or not. So whatever feels good in your lungs, releasing that circular breath, but knowing that you can call on it throughout our practice today as a focus for the mind as we start to add movements into our practice. We'll take this last moment to offer ourselves just a little bit of gratitude that we were so generous with our time as to make some for self-care today. Then as you're ready, start to wiggle fingers and toes. Deepen your breath. Maybe take a stretch in any way that feels good. Waking the body up to movement. And then allow your hands to rest either on the floor or on your lap, staying right in the back of your chair or in your constructive rest. And start to move the neck left to right, rotating through the neck here, noticing how it feels. You can go just as fast or as slow. You could even get back into that circular breath as you make your movement match your breath. All right, go ahead and bring the neck back through neutral. And if you're seated in the chair, go ahead and slip your hips forward. You're welcome to add a pillow behind your back for support, but keep your shoulders back. We're going to start with some reclined poses today. We'll start by bringing our right knee in towards our torso, hugging it in, getting a little hip compression in that right hip, and then take the ankle and roll it in one direction. And now the other. Maybe point and flex the toes a few times. And then we'll start to take some knee circles. So taking your knee out, around, and back in. It's more of a hip circle. You can imagine your knee has a flashlight drawing a circle on the wall or ceiling opposite of you. Notice how that feels in that hip. All right, now let's reverse those circles. Draw it in the opposite direction. Beautiful job setting right leg down. Let's take it to the left side. Inhaling, bring that left knee in towards your torso and start with those ankle rolls. And then reverse them. Maybe some pointing and flexing of the toes and feet and ankles. And then when you're ready, start to take those circles with your hip and knee. And then reverse it. Beautiful job. Alrighty, with our next inhale, you can bring either both knees in towards your torso and round into a little ball on your back, which is available maybe in the chair. That doesn't feel like you're going to fall out, but if it does, then instead bring your torso forward towards your knees and curl into that little ball here. And while we're in our ball, maybe we start to rock a little left to right, giving our glutes or our back a nice massage. Great job. As we inhale, let's unfurl the body, coming really long here, stretching out the legs, stretching out the arms into a full straight line. And then we'll take a banana posture. So we'll begin to walk the feet over to the left side of our space, keeping the hips and the torso as much in the center as we can. Now you're always ready, available to take that right ankle, crossing it over the left, if that feels good for you, or keep them separate. Those hands overhead, and then start to adjust and lean over to the left side. Again, maybe taking that right hand and resting it in the palm of the left hand. We're coming into a reclined banana shape here, enjoying a nice stretch through the entire right side of our bodies. Great job. Inhale to bring the arms and torso back through center and then over to the right side. Switching the left hand on top of the right and then working the feet over to the right and stacking that left foot on top, if that feels good in your body. Great job. Let's inhale to come back through center with the spine and come back into a constructive rest on the floor. In our chair, we'll go ahead and come up into a seated mountain, bringing our spine away from the back of our chair and our hips on the edge. And let's take a seated figure four or a reclined figure four if you're on the ground. So we'll bring our right ankle over towards that left knee. Now you're always welcome to keep it up on the knee in the chair if that's available, but you're also welcome to maybe let it rest on a prop, letting that knee fall open or even on the floor, depending on your hips. And as we take this figure four on our back, maybe you keep that bent knee, left leg, or maybe you extend the leg long. Or you could even lift that leg up and thread your needle if that is what would feel better for you. We're noticing what's happening in that right hip. We're keeping that right ankle flexed. We're tucking the chin just slightly so the spine is lengthened all the way through the back of the neck. We're focusing on that beautiful breath. Great job. If you're on the mat and you lifted both your legs, go ahead and bring your left foot back to the floor. And we're going to take a rock the baby leg. So you could maybe grab at your foot or your ankle and your knee. You can simply hold your pant leg. You can even grab a strap and wrap it around. But we're going to start to rock that leg left to right, keeping the shin as close to parallel to the body as is available. Great job. All right, go ahead and pause, reverse and switch sides, bringing that leg down. And then as you're ready, bringing your left ankle towards your right knee, tucking the chin to lengthen through the back of the neck. Feel what's happening in that glute as you take a few breaths here. Great job. Let's go ahead and rock that foot and leg. We're rocking the baby leg. All right, exhale to bring that foot down into your constructive rest. Seated in the chair, you're going to stay in your mountain. And on the floor, let's come over onto a tabletop, bringing our hands under our shoulders, our knees under our hips. And from whichever variation we're taking, we'll start to take some cat cows. We'll pull our heart and torso forward or down, depending on your orientation. And then as you exhale, round, tucking chin towards your torso, rounding through the spine, and really curling those shoulders towards your ears. Take this at your own pace. And maybe this is a great place to come back to that circular breath as you move to your movement and your breath, and we'll sink. Beautiful job. All righty, go ahead and come back to your straight spine. And if you're seated on the mat, go ahead and tuck those toes and start to come back into a seated hero's pose. You're welcome to add props under your hips. And if tucking those toes is too much of a stretch at this point, go ahead and release them. From our chair, we're going to do this at one side at a time. So you'll scoot over to your right side, take that right foot back behind, drop that right knee towards the floor. Maybe you take that left knee just a little bit more to the left as a great counterbalance. And then let's all circle our hands up overhead, get that full body stretch. And with our exhale, interlace your fingers and bring them behind your orbital bone, letting them support your head. Now, if this feels too intense to have the fingers interlaced, you could separate them, taking it a little bit wider, or even come to a cactus if that feels better in your body. And then if shoulders are a real issue, bring your hands down to your hips. All right. From our position here, we're going to find a little bit of an exaggerated cat-cow movement. So we start to look up, pull the elbows as wide as we can. Shoulder blades maybe start to kiss behind the spine as we look up. And then as we exhale, we'll tuck chin to chest. Allow the elbows to sink towards each other. And allow the weight of your hands and arms to gently stretch through the backside of your neck. And take this at your own pace for just about 3 to 5 rounds of breath. Opening on the inhale, spreading those elbows wide. Exhaling and curling into your cocoon on your exhale. Beautiful job. Go ahead and take a pause. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, bring them down through heart center. All right, in the chair, we're going to take second side. So come over to the left. Take it a foot back. And if you're on the ground, you're just stay in the same leg placement. We'll inhale, let our arms float up. With our exhale, let's twist towards the left, twisting at the hips. Looking towards that left shoulder. Inhale to bring it back through center, arms float up, maybe gaze follows. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, bring hands down through heart prayer. And then go ahead and drop your chin to your torso and take some half rolls with your neck, letting your ear come down towards your shoulder, rolling chin to chest, and then over to the other side. Beautiful job. All right. We're going to come back to a straight spine. We have one last seated pose before we start to come up to our standing poses. And for this one, we're going to come into a butterfly pose, bringing the soles of the feet together, drawing them close to the hips and the knees out wide. You're always welcome to add props under the knees if you'd like a little extra support. And from the chair, you can keep the feet on the floor, or you can maybe bring them up onto a prop, drawing them a little closer. Now we're going to take a cow face pose today in our upper body while we're taking this butterfly. So if you like to use a strap, now would be a great time to have that handy, but I'll give a variation in case you don't have a strap today as well. So if we're using a strap, we're going to put it in our right hand. And then we're going to begin to fold it down the spine. And then we're going to take our left hand around the lower back, grabbing the strap, and then walk the hands as close together as available. And that might not be very close at all, but just notice where you're at. Now, again, if you're not using a strap, sock, belt, something like that, the next option would be to bring a hand to the back of the head or neck and bring your hand to your lower back. That's always a great option. Try to work those fingers towards each other, maybe holding onto your shirt or not at all. And if this is too much, maybe you grab your fingertips, wrist, or elbow, drawing that right elbow as high towards the ceiling. Beautiful cow face. One last breath on this side. All right, if you're using the strap, release it out of the right hand, keeping it in your left hand. And then let's go ahead and release our twist and turn, bringing the hands down by the hips. And then we'll take it on the other side. So left hand comes up and over. Right hand goes to the lower back or to hold your cow face. We really stretch that left elbow as much towards the ceiling as possible, working to keep that spine as straight as possible. Even the neck can be easy to pull the neck towards chin to chest, but we want to actively stretch it back out straight. All right, beautiful job here. Let's exhale to release. First the arms, and then bring your hands down by your legs to push them together to release the butterfly pose. Great job. From here, let's go ahead and come on up to standing. We'll get there in our own time, in our own way. And we'll add just a little bit of a flow into our practice today. So coming into our mountain pose, we'll stand tall and long, feet in a comfortable distance apart, our shoulders relaxing down the spine, Straight head all the way to the top of the ceiling. And with an inhale, let's circle those arms up and overhead. Reach them up tall. Feel that length and extension. And then with an exhale, right hand comes to the right hip or down by the right hip. And then we're going to lean over to the right. Inhale to bring it back through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. We're going to find that cactus arms and then twist to the right. Inhale through center, extend the arms long. Cactus twist to the left. Inhale through center. And with an exhale, we're going to swan dive, taking it all the way into your forward fold, hinging at the hips. And we'll pause here for a ragdoll. So you can keep your hands where they are, or you can grab opposite elbows, but start to find a little bit of a sway from side to side, bending the knees and then straightening, swaying the hips, and feeling free to may add any head or mouth movement that might feel like a good stretch. And just like that thought pouring out of your head earlier today, maybe once again imagine all that stress and all that worry just pouring from your ears down into the mat as you release it all. Eventually find a little bit of stillness, releasing hands to their previous location if you took opposite elbows. And then pressing into those hands, lifting halfway. We come into figure 7. Our gaze stays down. Our core is tight. You got it. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. With our next inhale, we're going to bend the knees deeply, sink the hips, and then like we're unfurling a plant in the spring, allow each vertebrae to unwind back into your mountain pose. Beautiful job. Alrighty, from our mountain pose, let's immediately find our flow by taking that right leg back and opening it for warrior 2. So the toes come out to the side, the front knee starts to bend, the hips are open to the side, and then we start to allow the arms to float. Now you're always welcome to hold on to a prop for support here, or work the fingertips in opposite directions. Being mindful to squeeze the thighs towards each other and engage your core to keep this strong throughout our entire body. Our next exhale, we're going to take our back hand to our hip, or maybe even slide it down the back leg, and then take that front hand up towards the ceiling, finding a beautiful reverse your warrior. Inhale. Go ahead and come back through your warrior 2, straighten that front leg, and then windmill your arms over that front leg to a prop of your choice. We're going to keep our right hand on the prop, and then we're going to start to find a twist. You can bend that front leg just a little bit as you twist and revolve that forward fold. Lifting your left hand back behind you. Great job. Exhale to unwind, bringing both hands to the prop of your choice. And then once again, start to find a bend in that front leg. Start to shift so your weight is over that front leg, maybe even lifting your heel and coming onto your toes. And then you're welcome to stay here, or for a more challenge, start to lift that back leg for a warrior 3 option. Keeping a generous bend in your front leg. Great job. As we inhale, go ahead and step that foot next to the other one. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Maybe you have a little sigh on your exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, unfurl, coming into your mountain. All right, let's take that side too. Left leg steps back, opening into your warrior two, straightening the arms wide. Front knee is bent, squeezing thighs together, engaging your core, spreading those arms out wide. Feel that strength, the heat you're building. Be generous with your movements and smooth with your transitions, just like that circular breath. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, arms to warrior two. And then we're going to start to straighten that front leg. Continue the arms down as we come to frame that front foot with our props. Start to add a little bend into the front leg. We're going to keep that left hand planted and start to revolve our right hand, lifting it up behind us. You can always keep it on your hip for more balance or on a prop. Exhale, both hands come back down by that front foot, and we start to transition into that warrior three. So we bring our foot directly under our body. We start to make sure we can support our weight. Back heel comes up, or maybe toes start to lift a little or a lot. Beautiful balance challenge there. With your next exhale, bring that foot in through center. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, slow roll to mountain. Beautiful job. Once you arrive, go ahead and pause there. We're going to take our left foot, step it back and turn to the side. And you can do it whichever way so that you can face me. But we're going to come into our wide-legged position, toes out, heels in. Inhale, five-pointed star. Reach those fingertips. Beautiful job. Now with our exhale, we're going to start to hinge and forward fold. We're going to pause when our arms are at about hip height. And then take your left hand over towards your right leg. You can be on your hip, your shin, your thigh, your knee, all the way down to an ankle, or even to a prop. Inhale, bring it back to five-pointed star. Exhale, control the hinge of the hips, coming back to that T. And then take it to the other side. Inhale through five-pointed star. Take two more on each side at your own pace. So we inhale to lift up to five-pointed star. We exhale as we control our descent halfway, pausing arms wide, and then take it into the twist. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale as you descend, pausing and twist. One more on each side. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, bring the toes in line with the heels. Take those arms out wide to a T. Controlling the abdominals just like we did before. Start to find that hinge forward. And then we're going to find a forward fold here. So your hands can come down to your prop and keep a bend in your knees as you start to sink your forehead towards the mat. Beautiful job. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend the knees, sink the hips. We're going to come into a shallow squat. Arms to cactus. You're doing great. We're just going to hold this for three. Maybe you sink it down a little bit on two. Maybe a little bit more on one. Inhale, 5-pointed starter release. Great job. Go ahead and bring your hands back down by your hips, and then go ahead and step back into your mountain pose. All right, for this next pose, we're going to take a puppy pose, and we have a few options for puppy pose. If you like using your chair, make sure it's secure against something, and then maybe bring a prop like your blanket onto the back to the cushioning. And then you're going to bring your elbows down onto that prop. If you want to use a wall, that's always a great option. You'll just bring your elbows parallel to each other, hands either flat against the surface or fingers interlaced in a triangle shape. And then if you're taking this from the floor, you come first to a tabletop and you make that same movement, hands parallel to each other or interlaced. Now, no matter where you're at, we're going to start to walk our hips back. Start to allow our head to dangle in between our arms. If it's possible, it can rest on the mat, the wall, or even the back of a chair. Or if not, just let it dangle where it hangs. The goal here is to feel a nice stretch through the underarms and the sides of the body, maybe even the shoulders just a little bit. So feel free to make any adjustments so that you start to find the stretch in your own body. Our next inhale, walk yourself back towards your arms. And then we're going to place our hands exactly where our elbows just were and step it back for a downward facing dog. It's a very similar pose, but instead of stretching through the undersides of the armpits as much and shoulders, we're focusing on our total body here. Now, maybe you start to pedal through the legs, shifting the weight a little left to right. Maybe you settle into a little bit of stillness. And then wherever your feet are, go ahead and step them in one footprint from where they just were. So we're in a short stance, downward dog. And we're going to take it into a twist. So we're going to take that left hand over towards the right hip, shin, thigh, even ankle or prop. And twist and look out under your arm. Great job. Bring it back to your short stance, downward dog. And then let's take that on the other side. Second side. Exhale to release, downward dog. And then from here, we're going to find our seated position. So maybe coming down onto tabletop, sending the legs long. As you sit on a prop or on the floor or in your chair. Take a seated staff here. If you're seated in a chair and you want to bring your feet up a little higher, you could do that. They can come all the way up to parallel to the hips or have a little bit of a lean. We're going to sit up tall through our spine. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to pull our heart towards our toes as we hinge into a forward fold. Now in the chair, you might want to hold on to the chair somewhere, help make sure you're not falling out if those feet are on the floor. You can also always invite that strap back in, wrapping it around the balls of your feet. And then climbing your hands up the spine, up the strap. So we take just a few of those circular breaths here. We begin to notice the spreading of the lower back. And with our inhale, let's start to roll up to a straight spine. Great job. With our next inhale, bring the right knee in towards the torso. Hug it in. If you're on the floor, you can set that foot down on the mat. If you're not on the floor, you might have to hold the leg just a little bit. And we're going to take it into a sage twist. So we're going to start to bring our opposite shoulder towards that lifted knee. Now you can hug it if that is available to you, or you can hook it over the other one. Here's a great option to rest it on your opposite leg if you'd like a little extra support. And begin to take your gaze over towards that opposite shoulder. And you can always have that hand back behind you as a great support as well. Beautiful sage twist. Exhale to unwind. Let's take side two. Inhale, bring it in. Sit up tall. You're doing great. We start to draw our opposite shoulder towards our knee, capturing the knee or hooking the elbow. Sitting up tall as we twist here. Great job. Exhale to unwind the spine. We'll come over onto our knees if we're on the ground, taking them really wide as feels good. And then maybe grabbing a prop like a pillow under your torso as we take an extended child's pose over our prop. Maybe you allow your ear to rest on your prop or your forehead. Now from our chair, we can take a very similar posture. So we're gonna open our knees as wide as feels good. And for this one, you might want to use a prop of some sort. I find that it can be really nice to have something extended under the arms. So if you don't have something put under your hands, you're fine. Bring your hands to your knees, hinge forward. Really let yourself curl into this extended pose. Now, if you want to begin to extend the arms like the floor variation, you're welcome to do so. You can bring them down to the floor or into any prop under your hands. And allow yourself to find a moment of rest. Now, another great option here in the chair that feels maybe a little bit more restful is to bring your elbows onto your knees, your hands to a prayer, and then allow your hands to rest against your forehead. And this takes the extension of the upper body out of it just a little bit, finds the comfort, the relaxation. If you rested on the ground on one ear, go ahead and switch it to the other side for just a few breaths. Beautiful. Our next inhale releases us from our extended child's. In the chair, if you want to use a prop like a pillow behind you, you're more than welcome to do that for this next variation. And we're going to start to take a fish pose. We're going to start to roll our shoulder blades back over the back of our chair, back over the pillow if we're using the pillow. Our head can dangle, or maybe like me, you have your head up against a wall or a prop supporting you behind. You're taking this from the ground. You'll bring that pillow about halfway up the spine. You'll come down into your constructive rest, letting your spine arch over your prop of choice. And maybe you bring your arms to a cactus, or you circle, interlacing the fingers, letting the elbows out wide and supporting the back of the head with your interlaced fingers. And that's an option in the chair as well. It's nice, beautiful heart opener to end our class with today. Feeling the movement through our body. Last breath in your reclined fish of choice. Your hands are supporting your head. Go ahead and start to lift it, releasing the bind, circling the hands around. And then let's send both legs out long. We'll inhale, hug the right knee in towards the torso, just like we started class with. And then we're going to take it into a twist over to the left side. Now in the chair, you might just want to cross at the ankle or the knee and pause there, letting your opposite hand rest on your knee if you'd like. And from the ground, that bent knee can come all the way to the other side, or maybe a prop supports it. And if having the one leg long does not feel good in your body, you're always welcome to bend and stack both knees. Wonderful twist here to end today's class. Inhale to bring it back through center, hugging the same knee in towards the torso. And then take it into a half happy baby, bringing a 90-ish degree bend to the knee and the ankle. Great job. Let's release to second side. We start by hugging the knee in. Get that compression at our hip. And then as you're ready, start to bring it across the body, finding your twist. Hooking whatever would like to be hooked. Hands, knees, props, ankles. You're doing great. Feel your breath here. Maybe it's even that circular breath. Noticing what the twist does to taking a deep, full breath. As we exhale, we unwind, hugging the same knee in towards our chest, and then finding our half happy baby. Drawing the knee by the side of the body, finding that 90-ish degree bend, holding anywhere from foot to ankle to even just behind the leg that feels good for you. Beautiful movements today. We've moved our bodies in so many different ways. Beautiful job. Exhale to release. And we'll take one last ball shape of your choice. So again, either knees come to torso or torso come to knees. But you're curling maybe chin into chest this time. You're feeling free to make any rocking movements or any additional movements that your body might be calling in our last few breaths of class. Well, when you're ready, we'll start to unwind, uncurl, maybe take a full body stretch one last time, stretching fingers and toes in one opposite long line. And then with a sigh, let it all go and fall into your final resting pose of choice. Whether you want to take the corpse pose or maybe a constructive rest, or any other movement or adjustment, maybe adding pillows, blankets, socks, sweaters, or even socks. We'll find a comfortable seated or laying position of your choice. And then maybe you gently close your eyes, Maybe you simply soften your gaze. Allow your body to relax and your breath to find its natural rhythm. Don't try to change it, adjust it, or smooth it in any way. Just let it be what it is for the day, for the moment. And then start to feel the props or the ground, the items that are supporting you, offering support, even stability. And then take a deep breath in and slowly exhale, letting go of any tension or worries. And as we settle into this space, take a moment to invite a sense of calm and ease into your being. Now we'll bring our awareness to our heart center. We'll imagine a soft, warm light of any color glowing there. And with each inhale, feel this light expanding. And with each exhale, it softens and settles even deeper. This light is your capacity for generosity. It's boundless and it's radiant. Generosity is a beautiful expression of kindness and compassion. It can be shared in many forms: a smile, a kind word, a helping hand, or simply being present for someone in the moment they need your presence. As we cultivate generosity, we open our hearts and create a ripple effect, positivity in the world around us. Taking this moment to reflect on the ways in which you have experienced generosity in your life and the ways that you have shared it with others. Now let's bring to focus your breath, imagining each inhale as an invitation to draw in the energy of positivity and generosity. Feel this energy filling your lungs and spreading throughout your entire body. With each exhale, sending out those waves of generosity around you into the world. Visualizing the waves, reaching out and touching others, creating connection and fostering a sense of community. Continue this visualization for just a few more moments, breathing in the essence of generosity and then exhaling it outward, allowing the cycle to flow naturally, creating rhythmic giving and receiving. Now picture yourself offering kindness, time, or even understanding to others without expectation. Noticing how this feels in your body. Maybe it feels light, open, or even easeful. Now, as you extend this feeling outward, you imagine your light reaching your loved ones, your acquaintances, and even strangers. Because may all beings experience generosity and kindness. As we turn our attention inward, we think about acts of generosity that we have experienced or even just simply witnessed recently. These acts, no matter how small, have a profound impact on both the giver and the receiver. Can you reflect on how these moments have touched your heart or enriched your life? Can you consider how you can continue to embody generosity in your daily life? It could be through small acts of kindness, offering your time or presence, or simply being a source of support for others. Let these reflections inspire you. Cultivate a generous spirit. But generosity flows both ways. Can you imagine yourself receiving kindness with grace? Breathe in and silently say, I am open to receiving love and care. And feel how being open allows generosity to circle freely. Taking another deep breath in, filling yourself with the energy of generosity. Exhale slowly, feeling a sense of peace and connection. You can take this sense of generosity with you, knowing that even the smallest gesture can brighten someone's day. Because we know that generosity is a gift that keeps on giving. And by embracing a generous heart, we create a more loving and compassionate world. Thank you for sharing this time with me, being gracious, the gift of your time. We'll take the deepest breath of our day so far, coming back into the space, bringing your awareness back into the present moment. And then when you're ready, wiggling fingers and toes, opening the eyes, and coming up to an upright position facing you. Until next time, thank you so much for joining.